What's up everyone, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech and this is the complete review of the Huawei P20 Lite after 2 months. Now this is a budget-oriented phone launched by Huawei after a very long time. They've launched it only in one variant with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of storage at 20,000 rupees online exclusively on Amazon.in in two colors, Clean Blue and the Midnight Black. We have the blue color with us right now. Now let's talk about the design and build. On the front and back, this phone has a 2.5D curved glass, but on the back, it has a glittery cover film under the glass. At the center, it has a sturdy aluminum frame that's extended beyond the display, so unless you drop your phone directly on its face, it won't break easily. Now coming to the back, it looks fantastic to say the least. Yes, it is a fingerprint magnet and it is quite slippery, but it also looks amazing. And it definitely stands out from the crowd. We also get a transparent silicone case in the box to help with the grip. Now let's have a quick physical overview. On the front, it has a 5.84-inch TFT display with the new 19:9 aspect ratio, Full HD Plus resolution, 432 ppi, 480 nits of brightness, and it even has the notch just like the iPhone X. Now above the display, we have some sensors, LED notification light, earpiece, and a 24 megapixel front-facing camera with f2.0 aperture and 78-degree field of view. At the bottom, it has just the Huawei branding. Now on the back, it has a dual camera setup with a 16 megapixel primary camera with f2.2 aperture, 1 micropixel size and a 2 megapixel secondary camera for depth sensing along with a single LED flash. Below that it says dual lens with some specs. Following that is the fingerprint scanner and Huawei branding once again at the bottom. Now at the top it has just the mic. On the right side we have the power and volume buttons which have a nice clicky feel to them, but I wish they were slightly more elevated. With the case on, they are very clickable. At the bottom, we have just the audio jack, USB Type-C port, a mic and the mono speaker. On the left side, it has a SIM card tray and this is how it looks like. It has a nano SIM slot and a hybrid SIM slot, so you can either use two nano SIMs or a nano SIM and an SD card at a time. Even though this phone comes with a notch, bezels on this phone, including the enclosing frame, doesn't give you a bezel-less experience. It looks really good, there is no doubt about it, but the bezels aren't all that small. Now finally, this phone weighs 145 grams and has a thickness of 7.4 mm. In hand, it feels pretty lightweight, fits comfortably in single hand, and if you have slightly bigger hands like mine, you can also use it single-handedly. Its weight and form factor are actually one of the best things about this phone. If you're too sensitive about the weight and size of a phone, this is a great choice. Now coming to the hardware, this phone has all the basic sensors like proximity, ambient, fingerprint scanner, FM radio. It even has the compass and LED notification light, but it is missing a gyroscope. So we can't enjoy VR content or watch 360-degree videos on this phone. Now coming to the fingerprint scanner, it is very fast, but I wish there was some kind of haptic feedback when the phone unlocked. It also comes with a lot of cool gestures like we can pull down the notification bar, browse through the photos in the gallery application, take pictures, start video recording. We can even unlock locked application using the fingerprint scanner. So in terms of gestures and functionality, fingerprint scanner is simply loaded. Now just like the iPhone X and almost all the phones these days, even this phone has face unlock feature and it's fast. Not as fast as the OnePlus 6 or the OnePlus 5T, it takes like a second, but it's still fast. To improve a little security, if you close your eyes, it won't unlock your phone. Even in low lighting conditions, it works and it is reasonably fast. Unlike few phones, it even has the raise to wake feature. So whenever you pick up your phone from a table or simply take it out from your pocket, phone lights up and unlocks the phone just by looking at your face. I think it's a nice feature. Now unlike most of the phones, this phone also has dual Bluetooth support, so we can connect two Bluetooth devices on this phone at the same time. Now coming to connectivity, it supports 4G and VoLTE, but only for the first SIM. I have used Airtel and Jio networks on this phone. Call quality and signal reception are good, but we can't make or receive video calls directly from the phone dialer. Now coming to the display, this is how it looks. On the camera it looks very warm and the color reproduction isn't very accurate, but when you look at it in reality, it's actually pretty good. Sunlight legibility is great, viewing angles and contrast levels are really good. Even the blacks look pretty good. Now coming to the notch, there isn't anything special going on with it, at least right now. If you don't like the notch, you have the option to hide it. And even if you don't hide it, for most of the applications that you use in landscape mode, like watching videos on YouTube or playing games, notch is hidden. On the whole, it's a pretty good display. Because of the new 19:9 aspect ratio and smaller bezels at the top and bottom, you will get to use a bigger screen in a smaller form factor, and it's easily usable single-handedly. Now coming to the cameras, now these are some sample shots. They're not the best in the price segment, but they do look really good. All the colors really pop, it has good dynamic range, and it also over-sharpens the image a bit more. Sadly, there is no auto HDR even on this phone, but when you choose to take HDR images, capturing speeds are good and you do get good results. Now these are some portrait shots. Now unlike regular phones, on this phone we have something called the wide aperture mode where we can take portrait shots of objects, change the focus point before and after taking a picture, and even change the amount of background blur effect we want even after taking the picture. On the whole, portrait shots also look pretty good. Now coming to selfies, these are the sample shots. They also look pretty decent, especially the color reproduction looks really good. Now this phone also offers portrait selfies, and these are the sample shots. Edge detection and background blur effect is really good for portrait selfies. Now here's the sample footage recorded using the rear camera in daylight and village conditions. If you're a photography enthusiast and want a lot of control over the cameras, then this one has a lot of modes and a lot of cool features for you to play with. Now coming to the performance, this phone sports the same old Kirin 659 processor seen in the Honor 9 Lite, Honor 9 Lite and even the Honor 7X. Out of the 64GB of storage, we get about 50GB of free space for user apps and user data. For me, that was not sufficient, so I popped in another 64GB SD card. Now if you want to use 2 SIMs and want more storage, that's going to be a problem. Now coming to the processor itself, it's actually a pretty good processor, there's no doubt about it. It is powerful and it is power efficient, but considering the price, I must say it is quite underpowered. Now right out of the box, phone doesn't feel very responsive, but once you start using it for some time and all your apps are loaded into the memory, everything feels very responsive. Even the memory management is pretty good. Now coming to the gaming review, you won't have any problem while playing smaller games, but while playing heavy graphic intensive games like the Asphalt 8, Modern Combat 5 or even the Shadowgun Legends, you will see some occasional lag and frame drops. Now coming to the heating issues, in all my usage I never had any heating issues with this phone. On extensive gaming of Asphalt 8, phone reached a maximum of 42 degrees, but that's completely manageable. Now coming to the software department, this phone is running a skinned version of Android called EMUI 8.0 based on Android 8.0 Oreo. Like all other Chinese phones, there is no app drawer, but it looks pretty clean. And it's loaded with a lot of features and options to customize the phone. To name a few, it has one-handed mode, motion gestures, app twin, private space, and so on. To know more about all the software features, check my video on best features of Huawei P20 Lite, link will be in the description. Now all of these features work really well without any issues. Even the memory optimization is pretty good. When you open an application for the first time, you will definitely notice some lag and delay, but once that app is in memory, it opens up super fast. Even in terms of overall responsiveness, it's pretty good. Now coming to the audio quality, speaker on this phone is loud enough, whether it's watching videos, ringtones or alarms, it is sufficiently loud and clear. Now coming to the audio experience on headset, because of the Hissen sound enhancement offered by this phone, audio experience is slightly better than the regular phones. Now coming to the battery department, this phone packs a 3000 mAh battery with a USB Type-C charging port. In India, it doesn't support any fast charging and comes with a regular 10 watts power adapter in the box. It takes about 2 to 2.5 hours to charge the phone completely from 0 to 100%. Now battery life on this phone is pretty good. For me, by the end of the day, I always had about 10 to 15% of battery life left, and that's on normal usage while using Wi-Fi and mobile data alternatively. It also has a lot of features to further improve the battery life, like the ultra power saving mode, which simply kills all the applications running in the background and gives you access to very few applications and thereby increases the standby time drastically. It can also change the screen resolution automatically to further improve the battery life. And we also have the options to stop applications from auto starting in the background and even running in the background to further improve the battery life. So no matter what kind of user you are, a normal user or an advanced user, you have all the features at your disposal to further improve the battery life, which is something I really appreciate. So guys, to conclude, if you're looking for a good looking phone with decent performance and good cameras, especially with a smaller display and that weighs less, then you can definitely consider this phone. In the same price segment, we have many other alternatives like the Vivo V9, Oppo F7, even the Redmi Note 5 Pro or the Asus M1, which offer you way more things than this phone, but this phone definitely offers you some very unique things. So guys, what do you think about this phone? Will you buy it over phones like Redmi Note 5 Pro, Asus M1 or the Vivo V9 and the Oppo F7? Do let us know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy this phone, use the link in the description. It really helps the channel. If you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and we will try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.